Alright, it is time to discuss some charts. This week we're going to cover 3 charts. We're going to glance at the EOS and Litecoin charts that we already did as well. But we're going to go back into Bitcoin. And we're going to cover XRP. And we're going to look at gold as our traditional asset. All against the US dollar. This will be the in-depth, detailed coverage of the entire Elliott wave count. We've already covered the large count on Bitcoin, so I'm not going to go too much into detail on the larger term count, larger time frame count. I do want to discuss the potential that instead of this being an X wave, we've simply been putting in some kind of basing pattern here. And I think this is particularly likely on Ethereum. In my opinion, Ethereum has probably already bottomed. Bitcoin could still have another move down, but with this potentially being a basing pattern here, we could have a massive move up first, reach up into this previous range of consolidation, and maybe even push through before coming back down. But if you missed the first video, what I have this as is some kind of large W, massive X behind it, and then a Y to come behind that. So the question becomes, are we putting in this move of the X now, where we have like an A, B, C? B would be complete here. Basing pattern before our C starts. Or was the initial count correct? At the end of the day, I don't care too much. This is one option we have, but it's not going to affect how I enter the next trade. So let's go on down to the 4-hour, and we'll take a look at the 4-hour. And there's a couple things I want to highlight before we start talking about the count. Trash man is showing up. I apologize if you can hear him in the background here. He shouldn't be too long. So let's look at time. We had this move up. Oops, this is the wrong tool. I apologize. Here it is. We had this move up right here. Since then, that's too long. We've already taken 10 times as long, and we've covered less ground. So something I discussed in our group is to look at impulses versus corrections. Impulses move against price, corrections move against time. We're still in some kind of corrective pattern as compared to this. Now we can make new price extremes and still be corrective. That's not what I'm saying. However, at some point, we continue to look for some move up similar to this one, and likely stronger. I had previously highlighted this as a resistance zone, and you see it actually came into play pretty well, but we did push through the top of it, and we're currently pushing through the top of it again. Let me actually extend this over. And realistically, there's a little bit of a lack of clarity here on if this is our A, right here, or if this is our A. Given that this is the low, and it happened on every exchange, I actually lean towards this being our A wave, and our correction starting here. What looked pretty clear at the time of the last video, which has been a couple weeks, I intended to put more videos out, but we've just been moving so slowly through this corrective wave that there hasn't really been any update to give. So I was expecting this to be a flat pattern right here, and then start our move down. And that really hasn't played out. So it leads me to believe that this is some larger type of correction, and as long as we maintain this lower channel line, we are still in some kind of corrective pattern. That channel actually didn't hold very well in Coinbase. On the BitMEX chart, this channel held a lot better. We can catch it like this and be fine. If this is the start of our correction, then this is a pretty good way to draw it, and you see we held it pretty well. So let's draw it as a channel real quick. I'm going to grab my magnet so I can hopefully catch the bottoms a little better. All right. I think it's safe to say we can take this off. This is still the direction I'm looking for, but it just hasn't quite started yet. And it's probably safe to say that we can move these guys over as well. In my opinion, we cannot confirm that this B wave is complete until we drop out of this channel. Once we see some kind of drop in consolidation, then that would be a great place to add to shorts if you're not already in shorts. I don't quite believe that this move up is done yet. I think we could do something like this, and that could mark the end of our correction. So now, rather than this box here, I'm looking for something more like this. Up to the top of this wick. I would like to take out this high, so I actually want to come up just above this high, and that would be my short entry. Gets us close to the top of the channel as well, and it gets us close to this previous top. But in the same manner that this is impulsive, this move here was pretty impulsive. And this move following it has clearly been corrective. Doesn't matter exactly where it ends. We've covered a lot of time in very little price in comparison to this previous move. So at some point in time, I am expecting a move of this caliber out of this corrective wave. Has it started already? No, probably not. I don't buy this as some kind of A, B, C type wave. I think we are still completing this structure here. Likely have at least one more push up. There's even an argument that says instead of one more push up, we'll go ahead and leave that there. The argument says that instead of one more push up, we actually do something like this. And this could take out the high here. Oops. It could take out that high before moving back down. So I would advise caution in buying a breakout above this high. It's quite clear to me that this is corrective and we still need another move down. So it does change our charts up a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a measurement here. From our proposed top here, and we're looking at a 1-to-1. Something like this. And then the question becomes, is this all an AB base, or are we putting in a C wave? this could be A, B, and we're done and we're moving up. There's also a count. I would actually change up these subwaves a little bit. This could be an A, B here, with a C up to come. It's not entirely clear. So previously we were counting this as a large flat, right? This wave, this internal wave, A, B, C, in X. That is still possible, but this Y is taking so long that may not be related to each other. This could be an A wave with the B behind it and then a C coming up. So there's multiple different counts to watch out for. However, all of them have this A, B, C within them, where I'm looking for a short here, and then I'm looking for a long upon break of that third leg of the C, of this corrective move. So say we come up here, something like this. You draw your trend line, and you look for breakout. When you see break over this trend line, this downtrend, you're looking for longs. You can also choose a support level like this. You can see how this has been relevant for a long time. And let's go ahead and make this blue. This is a likely zone for a bounce. It also lines up pretty well with this guy here. Actually lined up perfectly with my arrow. Did not do that intentionally. But we caught this bottom and we caught this bottom. Now this has been called an uptrend, but in reality there is no confirmed uptrend here. We have confirmed higher lows, but it's not a trend until we break this high. We have to make a higher high than this. A trend is higher lows leading to higher highs. So far we don't have that. Try to make the chart a little more legible. But essentially I'm looking for something like this. The last time that I saw a move take 10 times as long, and even longer, we're already past 10 times as long, right? I'm projecting that it'll reach 12 times as long almost, 11 and a half. The last time a move took this long behind an impulse was in 2015 when we saw a basing pattern form on Bitcoin. There might be some exceptions in low time frame corrections, but on a large time frame, a high degree, this is the longest we've seen a correction take in this type of manner, which leads me to believe that we are putting in some sort of AB base before starting a new impulse move up. All right, I think that's all I've got to cover on Bitcoin. The main updates are, hey, my subwaves may not be exactly correct, but we're still looking for a move down and a larger move up once that move down completes. Have we topped out yet? Probably not. Could we top out 2 more times? Yes, possibly. It could be something like this, A, B, C, or we just poke here and move down from there. Let's take a look at EOS real quick. To me, EOS has been exceptionally clear. This was our previous chart where I had suggested that we put in a W wave here, and it started a long, drawn-out corrective wave behind it. I projected a bottom and another move up. We've seen both of those. Our B is not quite complete yet. Once this completes, we would be looking for that same move down that we saw here. Something like this. So I had projected more sideways after this completes. What I want you to keep in mind is that if Bitcoin and Ethereum are in some kind of basing pattern, this will probably be the end of this correction. We would move up from this third leg. So you would want to draw that trend line, that corrective trend line that we already discussed. Say you've got your impulse like this. You draw your trend line, and you look for breakout of that trend line. You want to buy the breakout of that trend line. And it's going to be a good buy for either this move here or for a much larger move to the upside. So no real changes here, just a quick update on it. Let's jump over to Litecoin. And once we're done looking at this, we are going to look at a fresh chart being XRP. So this was the count that I projected. And I say that we're going to be starting some kind of large time frame corrective wave behind it, just as I suggested in EOS. I don't believe that we've started this move yet. I think once we do, we'll see a sharp move down. So it is possible that we see one more wave up here. What exactly that count is not clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. But it looks like we're close to making that move now. So if we go down to a low time frame and we look at this smaller wave, this move could be complete as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we continue to maintain the main uptrend here. We have broken this, so what I'm primarily expecting is one more corrective move and then a final move up. So on low time frames, I would be looking to short the next top. Don't short immediately. Draw your trend line, just like this, and short the breakdown from that trend line. Short a rejection in this level. You need some other criteria before you open short. Don't just preset a short and say I'm going to open short at 63, because then we could run up through that 63 level, wait to see a rejection, or wait to see a break of the uptrend. Alright guys, let's look over at XRP. This one is exciting, but we have to start from high time frames. Let's go ahead and turn on log. Oh, we will probably need to move to another chart for just a minute. Alright, this is probably the best one we've got. You can see here that XRP made this massive move last time. This was from February of 2017 to May of 2017, followed by a massive sideways correction. Then we had the move up that you're all familiar with, starting in December of 2017. Then we've got a pretty massive sideways correction. In terms of time, let's call this the low to this high here. Probably around 2.5. Let's call it 2.75. Yeah, that's pretty close. The corrective wave here took 2.75 times as long as this massive impulse. We then started this massive impulse right here, and we've already taken well over 2.75 times as long. We've taken 16 times as long to correct this as this move took. So we have an impulse and we have a correction. At some point in time, this correction is going to end. We don't know if it's over now. We don't know if it's over way down here. Oops, sorry. We don't know if that correction could even come down here. So let's start labeling some structures that we do see. First of all, we've got an impulse. Behind that, I see a nice little running flat like this. Let's take this guy off. So that would mean we put in a W, an X, and some kind of Y. Is Y complete here? We don't know yet. In terms of time, this could definitely be our Y. We could be putting in some kind of X, some kind of base. The basing patterns really throw a wrench in the counts. If there was no base, I would count it like this. So we had a downtrend here that was broken. In this downtrend, we had this move here, corrected, this move, corrected, and this move. So a 5-wave move, probably a W, X, Y, X, Z. And on low time frames, you've got this corrected flat. So this is most likely a WX, YXZ finishing the Y wave. Following that, this looks to me like some kind of AB base. But I just said that I was going to count it as if there is no AB base, right? So this would be like an ABC. A, B, C for A. Long drawn out B. We should be familiar with this by now. And then some kind of C wave coming up. So this is what I'm looking for. Whether it's like this or just like this here. Once we complete the move, the corrective move, I think we have a massive impulse like this one. So I'm waiting for that particular move. How do you count it? Is this an X? Very possibly. Or it's a base, or it's an A, B, and then our massive move is a new impulse. I don't particularly care. I still am looking to buy in the same place regardless. So let's discuss where that place to buy is. Line up some of my lettering a little bit better. Because I'm calling this an AB base, I'm actually going to include it as part of our Z. And I'm going to call this our A. Behind that, we have a long, drawn-out structure in here. There's a few different ways to count it. Overall, it's pretty ugly. Personally, I'm counting it as some kind of W, X, Y, X, Z. So I'm still looking for one more down. And ideally, I want to take out this low right here. Once we take out that low, I'll be looking for long entries. I forgot I'm still on Bitstamp. Check it out. Bitstamp took out that low. So to finish the analysis, I'm going to flip over to Bitfinex, and we're going to look at the chart there. Same place. This low. We have not taken out this low. Bitstamp did. Often that can tell you, hey, this is where you should put your buy orders. This is where other exchanges will visit in the future. Bitstamp's the only one that visited that level. So for me, that's a good indication that we might get there on other charts. So I'm counting it like this. This is actually probably an A, B, C, so my Y needs to be moved over a little bit. I was looking for a little bit more up, but it's not clear if we get that or not. What I'm referring to as an ABC is right in here to the large expanded flat. And we are looking for a move similar to this one. Once this move completes. So my ideal buy area is going to be right down below this line. On low time frames, I'm expecting it to look something like this. Remember we had a Coinbase listing in here, so it makes the chart a little bit funky. But I'm looking for something like this. internally we have some kind of A, B, C type move in this large B wave. So I need an invalidation. I don't want to miss this move up. Even if we don't get to the green box, how do I benefit from this move up? If we get over the top of this A, this internal A, it could still be a C wave of B. It could be an expanded flat. So I don't necessarily want to buy a breakout here. And I don't necessarily want to buy a breakout here because this could be an expanded flat. Unfortunately, the best way to do this, if you're not already in the trade, is having already bought. You should have been buying this bottom here. Should have been buying this low. For now, if you wanted to get in the trade, we seem to be consolidating for another push up. Stop below the slope. Unfortunately, your first target's going to be right here. So your risk to reward is quite terrible. Makes it a little bit tough. There's no clear invalidation because as long as it's internal, your invalidation is going to be like up here. By that point, you've already missed the move. So let's hope that we visit the 27-ish levels one more time. Otherwise, you're buying flags. You're buying consolidations and managing your position. You can't use a stop loss like this, right? So you're looking at flags like this one. You're buying them with a stop more like this. Now be wary that this could be a completed move as well. 1, 2. This wick was a little tricky. 3, 4, 5. Or it could be like a 3, 4, 5. So you want to be careful if you choose to buy in this area because we could easily roll back over. But you want to be on the right side of the trade for when we do have this massive move up. At this point, I'm not fully convinced that we're going to have our A like this. This was an A, B, C. I was originally looking for this in our C wave. But as you see, this move was pretty weak, which suggests that this could have been a lot of manipulation and such from the Coinbase listing. A lot of FOMO. So could we still reach this 35-cent area? Yes, we could. But it's looking a little less likely to me for this particular count. I actually think that we would probably truncate in here, something like this. Let me undo that. More of a running flat type scenario, like this. Before moving back down. But my primary is something like this, and you want to be buying in this box. If I'm wrong, my secondary says you need to take some pot shots and buy some consolidation trades until we capture the bigger move. When the C comes, we should know it. It should be pretty sharp. It should be pretty quick. So you're not going to be buying any consolidations on this. When I say consolidations, I mean we have an uptrend here. We have a confirmed uptrend. We've got a low, we've got a high, we've got a higher low, a higher low, or excuse me, a higher high. So buying a consolidation in an uptrend to catch the next move up is the way to go. Otherwise, you're waiting and hoping that I'm correct, that we make one more low. All right, guys, that's it for XRP. I will be posting the charts on TradingView as well, if you ever want to check them out there. But lastly, let's look over at gold and see what gold has been doing. We need to start at a higher time frame here. In fact, let's go to a monthly chart. Gold is a much older asset than what Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP will be. And gold had a massive run up. I think we can all agree that the massive run up ended here. So after completion of this move up, I'm expecting an extended corrective move behind it. Some type of A, B, C, which this could just be the W move. So in this move down, we've got an A that appears to be completed, some kind of B, and then I'm going to be looking for a C wave. So on high time frames, I remain quite bearish on gold. Let's go up one more degree. Let's go down to the weekly. Let me go ahead and count this out first real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in our A. And going down to the weekly, we're going to get a little more clarity. I then see an A up and potentially a B running flat here and a C. So my suggestion is that we're probably putting in a C wave right now. You can see this A wave moved pretty quickly, so the C wave is likely to move pretty quickly as well. I also note that we have some kind of flat here before continuing up, and I think that's what we're doing here. I think we're putting in some kind of flat, some kind of corrective move here before continuing up. In fact, if we go down to, let's just pull the 2-day chart. We can then pull a bars pattern of this from the high to the low and look for something similar to happen over here. So essentially we already have this move down. This is the close. Let me change it to the high-low bars. And the close was a little easier to read, actually. We've already had this move down and potentially this move up. So now we're putting in some kind of corrective move to this. So if we're to follow exactly, it would look something like this. Are we going to follow exactly? Probably not. But we are likely to get pretty close. And once that completes, I'll be looking for a move up. So personally, I'm not looking to trade this chop too much. I might try to capture a long on this one, but the main trades I'm looking for are this one and this one here. Now, that is assuming that our B wave is completed. So let's mark these out real quick. We hit a low and a higher low. On RSI, if this is going to be a running flat, we would expect to see hidden bearish divergence, or excuse me, hidden bullish divergence on RSI. Did we get that? We've got a low and a lower low on RSI. So yes, we have that on the 2-day chart, and it should actually be more clear on a higher time frame like the weekly. This level and this level. So we have hidden bullish divergence, suggesting that this is in fact a completed flat pattern here in the V wave. Time-wise, it was also enough time to correct the A. It wasn't 16 times as long, but it was over 3 times. Not quite 4. So right around 3.25, 3.5-ish times as long, which is plenty of time for a V wave. It's actually perfect. So could we potentially complete our C wave in the same amount of time as we did our A wave? Something like this. You can see we're already there in terms of time. We've already taken as much time. So it will definitely take longer, but this was a pretty quick move. That shouldn't be surprising at all. Target-wise, I'm expecting something like 1500-ish. You may not quite reach it. But you see, we also have a couple peaks right in there already. This whole range for me is of relevance. Even these bottoms right in here where we found support. We consolidated here, found support here before bouncing and then cutting through it. So these are relevant areas for me when looking for shorts. So what I will be doing is looking for a break of the uptrend. Let me get a little more clear. We broke the uptrend, retested it, and that was your short. We'll be looking for something similar here. Once we know where this forms, we'll be looking for a breakdown, consolidation, and a move down. This high time frame stuff, this could be next year, it could be 2021. It may not happen this year at all. This is a very high time frame outlook. As far as the internal structure, you can be watching this on like a 4-hour chart. So I believe we've already started our B wave here. As well as our B wave in the middle of this. like so. So as this B wave plays out, you draw a trend line on the B wave, and you're looking for a break above that trend line to consider your long here. All right, guys, I think that's really all I've got today. As always, if you want to see more analysis, daily, hourly, constant updates on cryptos, Forex, and more, whether it be Elliott wave analysis or Crypto Warrior and Nebraska and Gooner doing their more traditional analysis, we'd love to have you come join the group. If you've been a part of another group, we're currently running a promotion that if you've been part of another group and don't feel like you benefited from that group, or feel like they even took advantage of you or ripped you off, then you can come join our group for free for 2 weeks. We don't take a credit card. We don't take any kind of commitment from you. It's simply a free group to join for 2 weeks. Try us out. Give us a shot. If you don't feel like you learned, you move on. We'd love to have you in the group. If you want to take advantage of that, let me know. Or just visit the website. The website is down in the links below. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.